All right, everybody, we're back on Civic Center Wrestling. More tag team action here as the combination of Ron Simmons and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert to face the team of the Varsity Club, Rick Steiner and Mike Rotunda. Rotunda, I guess, has the night off, will not be defending the television championship, but he definitely has his work cut out for him here. You see the Games Master Kevin Sullivan will be in their corner. And we are just moving right along here on Civic Center Wrestling. Of course, the next Civic Center Wrestling will be on Sunday, September the 10th. I want to mark your calendars for that. That'll be right here on the Bilskie CCW YouTube page, along on our also along our WWE 2K Wrestling NWA Edition Facebook page. You can find all our content between myself and Neil ET87. We got tag team action here. Originally, it was supposed to be the team of Ron Simmons and Brad Armstrong to take on the Varsity Club. That has been changed, obviously. Eddie Gilbert made his re-debut on the scene recently in Florida, I believe. I believe it was on one of Neil ET87's events as he came back on the scene, and he and Ron Simmons had partnered up. So we will have some tag team action momentarily. And just to pass along this note also, it has been signed. It is official. Loser leaves town. Anything goes. No holds barred. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, will tangle with Ron Garvin. The loser of the fall will leave the NWA for good. So that is official. That will happen. Actually, the Russian Assassin has been placed in a tag team match with Rip Morgan as they will face the Lightning Express as an extra added bonus match here on Civic Center Wrestling. Also, don't forget the Omni on August the 26th. Plus, my co-promoter Neil will be having another show debuting from the Sunshine State. That'll be coming up soon as well, along with a spectacular from Greensboro. And all leading up to the Clash of the Champions number 3 in Albany, Georgia. That will be on September 7th. And here we go. Back to the ring, back to the Civic Center we go for tag team action here at the Civic Center. And there you see Ron Simmons and Eddie Gilbert. Ron Simmons sporting his number 50 Florida State Seminoles football jersey as we will now go back to the ring and the arrival of the Varsity Club. All right, here we go. The Varsity Club into the ring. We are ready for tag team action here. This should be a heck of a contest. The All-American from Florida State, Ron Simmons, along with his tag team partner, Eddie Gilbert, against the very capable team, the unit known as the Varsity Club. Of course, you know, we call them a unit, the Varsity Club here, but of course, they have had their problems Rick Steiner, Mike Rotunda not seeing eye to eye of recent days, and Gamesmaster Kevin Sullivan right in the middle of all that. Nice takedown by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert as he gets a standing ovation from this Civic Center crowd. And here you have a battle here of two former partners, two former stablemates, as Eddie Gilbert and Rick Steiner square off here in the ring. And again, this was indeed supposed to be Brad Armstrong and Ron Simmons, who was originally signed. Eddie Gilbert happily stepped in here with Ron Simmons, and we have the makings of a very good tag team match here at the Civic Center in Philadelphia. It's tag team heaven tonight. A lot of tag team matches still to come. U.S. tag team titles, the Midnight Express against the Road Warriors. We'll also see the the World Tag Team title with Arn and Tully against Dr. Death Steve Williams and the Stinger. And Eddie Gilbert, always the entertainer, always showing off to the crowd, and certainly become a fan favorite since his arrival back on the scene here in the NWA. And what a clothesline by Rick Steiner as he stomps away on his former mentor, his former tag team partner, but Gilbert strikes back. Nice right hand by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Never a lack for charisma, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Sends Steiner to the ropes. Nice clothesline, headlock takedown. This new duo of Eddie Gilbert and Ron Simmons, as you see Gilbert hops back over the top rope, and here comes the All-American from Florida State, Ron Simmons, who wore that number 50 shirt, sporting the Seminoles logo on the front of the shirt. Of course, Ron Simmons, a former Heisman Trophy candidate back in the 80s. I believe he finished 5th or 6th in the Heisman Trophy balloting, if my memory serves me correct. And Ron Simmons, nice takedown. Mike Rotunda, the World Television Champion, of course, in there now with Simmons. Simmons, of course, has had matches with Mike Rotunda for that championship in the past, I would assume. Rotunda, of course, just fresh off all those title defenses against Steve Williams. And wow, look at this. This is a torture rack by Simmons, but Rotunda manages to get himself out of it, and it drops him with a DDT. As I mentioned, Rotunda successfully defending his World Television title throughout the Great American Bash. And Simmons now counters with a DDT. So dueling DDTs now as Simmons goes down for the cover, hooks the leg. Only a 1 count. Ron Simmons, the Warner Robins, Georgia native. Nice clothesline from the left side. Again, down for a quick cover. Simmons knows in order to get Rotunda sometimes you better get on him quick. Rotunda's resiliency is well documented as now Simmons rakes away at the facial features of the World Television Champion Mike Rotunda. And Rotunda now with Simmons into the corner. And Rotunda with Simmons right to the post. Drops him down. Modified powerbomb maneuver there. You see the Games Master Kevin Sullivan down at ringside, who has had his run-ins with Jimmy Garvin throughout the summer. And just recently, on an episode of World Championship Wrestling, he had a very severe run-in with Jimmy Garvin, which we'll get into a little bit later. But let's just say Jimmy Garvin sustained a very severe injury to his knee. And nice maneuver by Eddie Gilbert. We saw that earlier against Steiner. Eddie Gilbert, very good friends with gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Had the opportunity to get into a match here against Sullivan's Varsity Club and jumped right in for the opportunity. And speaking of Sullivan, he's up on the apron and goes right after. Oh, it's a good thing the ref moved that chair, or Eddie Gilbert's head would have landed right on it. As the Varsity Clubs makes the switch here, and now Rick Steiner back in. Drop kick by Eddie Gilbert. Once again, back in the old days of the Universal Wrestling Federation, Eddie Gilbert and Rick Steiner were former co-holders of the UWF Tag Team Championship. Nice takedown once again by Eddie Gilbert. Very effective. Down for the cover. Only a 1 count. Once again, Steiner into the corner, and now we're going to get a switch again as Ron Simmons comes back in. Eddie Gilbert. What Ron Simmons was trying to do there, but it evidently missed. Belly to back suplex, puts Steiner on the deck. Down for the cover, he goes, hooks the leg. Once again, Steiner kicks out at 1. We do know that Kevin Sullivan over the past few weeks has been trying to add to his stable in the Varsity Club. Ron Simmons has been looked at. He has been scouted by the Games Master. Simmons, of course, being a former football All-American at Florida State University. Did not have any collegiate wrestling background so far as I know. Mashes him in the corner with that clothesline. Ron Simmons, of course, sporting the colors of his Florida State University Seminoles. And again, wore that Seminoles jersey to the ring with his number 50 on the back. Very powerful nose tackle. He was at Florida State. There's no question about that. Nice arm drag takeover by Eddie Gilbert this time. Goes to work on that left arm. And now to work on the right arm as he jumps down with all his weight on it. And now back to the left arm, goes right back after it again. Steiner with a very vicious knee lift sends Gilbert right to the mat. Once again, thank you for joining us here on the Bilskie CCW channel here on YouTube for Civic Center Wrestling. As Eddie Gilbert just goes right to the floor. And as you see, there's a very thin mat out there. Not very much padding. And the floor's not going to give here in the Civic Center, I guarantee you that. Thin line of padding or not. Now back in the ring we go. Eddie Gilbert drives that elbow into Rotunda. And Gilbert resorting to some of his brawling tactics. And I guess when you're facing a team like the Varsity Club, you better have it together. You better be willing to brawl because, as we know, sometimes the collegiate style of the Varsity Club kind of takes a backseat to more brawling tactics. And, of course, that is the brainchild of Kevin Sullivan, who has influenced this team to take on a more brawling mentality. As now the Games Master himself back up on the apron again. Looks like it's personal against Gilbert. This is the second time he's distracted Gilbert in this match. Rotunda, a bridge suplex. Thought he would maybe hook the leg, but did not. As Rotunda looks out to this crowd here at the Philadelphia Civic Center. Glad to have you on board for Civic Center Wrestling on this August 20th. What a maneuver by Eddie Gilbert, a jumping arm drag takedown. Gilbert now hooks Rotunda. What are we going to see here? Suplex? Got him up. Well executed. Well executed by Eddie Gilbert. 1, 2. No, Rotunda kicks out. Saw Simmons in there. He thought it was over too. Or maybe he was going to try to fend off Rick Steiner. Rotunda fights back. Will we see an airplane spin? Yes, we will. This is one of the special maneuvers, one of the old finishing maneuvers of Mike Rotunda back in his U.S. Express days. As Gilbert does the smart thing, gets out of dodge, and he is going to the top. Gilbert with a high cross body. And once again, Sullivan up on the apron. Distracting hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. And a, wow, front face slam, a modified Russian leg sweep face first. Rotunda with the whip into the Varsity Club corner. And now they're going to switch again, as now we have a double team effort here. Off the top. Steiner nails him with a cross body as he barks to the crowd here in the Civic Center. Steiner would love to get a pin against his former partner, his former mentor in Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert. Steiner going crazy here. And a spine buster, modified version. And it is Gilbert trying to get it to the corner to try to get away from Steiner. Thought it was over there. Rick Steiner's on a roll here, the Florida State heavyweight champion. Belly-to-belly suplex, that might be it. Ron Simmons trying to get in there to keep Steiner from going out for a pin. He gets in there. Ron Simmons trying to do everything he can to keep Gilbert from getting pinned. But it is Steiner who knocks Ron Simmons off the second turnbuckle. Steiner now a modified neck breaker there. Jams that knee right into the back of the skull of Gilbert. Steiner, nope, Gilbert kicks him off. And a beautiful modified arm drag. This European forearm. Gilbert now doing a little shucking and jiving here with those left hands. I've seen another guy do that a time or two. Gilbert now, what's he going to do here with Steiner? And he drops Steiner face first. This could be it. This could be it. No, Steiner kicked out at the last second. Nice reversal by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Gilbert hooks the head. Goes for a suplex, no blocked. And he takes him up and over. Gilbert could probably stand to get a tag here. He goes at a second turnbuckle on the inside. And Rotunda just nails him. Eddie Gilbert, a veteran of some 15 years up at this till this point in 1988. Gets the tag now to Ron Simmons, a double team effort here. A double elbow. Simmons now, he's stalking Steiner. And a chop block tackle. What a maneuver. He got him. Ron Simmons scores the pinfall over Rick Steiner. And Kevin Sullivan is absolutely beside himself at ringside as we take a look at the replay. Ron Simmons absolutely upended Rick Steiner on that one as you take a look back at some of the action that went on here. Ron Simmons just exploded on Rick Steiner. And needless to say, the games master at ringside, here's the move right there. That tackle just absolutely turned Steiner inside out. He goes down for the pin. Rotunda didn't even look to get in the ring. I don't know what's going on there. As you see, Sullivan down at ringside was absolutely enraged. We'll have to look more into this as the weeks go by here in the NWA. Well, your winners. The combination of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and the All-American from Florida State, Ron Simmons. And we will be back with yet more tag team action as we continue with Civic Center Wrestling right after this timeout.